viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's Wednesday, the 11th of September 2024, and this is yet another interesting edition of the Youth Dialogue. Last week we had the ALCOI members here, and we were talking about climate change and the upcoming COP29 and the impact of climate change in our society, and what can the role of young people as far as climate change mitigation is concerned. So this time around we are having young people. This time around it's about leadership. Very interesting topic. Who is a leader? A leader is widely believed to be someone who knows the way, goes the way, but also shows the way. Do we have what it takes? Do we have those leaders in our country? We will dive into that. I have young people here who are going to take us through that, because a good leader can be able to make the country, but when we have a bad leader, we can either make or break the country. So it's good to talk about leadership. And to help me discuss these and other topics here, I have with me Omar Mboub, who is the National Coordinator of the African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. And of course, I have on my far right, I have the one behind the Fulani. I was like, at some point, he is no other than Alpha Umar Jan, who is the Assistant Communications Officer of the organization. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Youth Dialogue.
Thank you. Hello, Gambia. Hello, everyone, and everyone that's watching. My name is Alpha Madjany. I am the Assistant Communications Officer for African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. And thank you, Junda, for giving us this platform to share our perspective as young people.
You're most welcome. Omar?
Yeah, Assalamualaikum, Julia. Like what my colleague mentioned here, Alpha Omar, we honor this invitation, to be here in this youth dialogue. So my name is Omar Mboub. I'm the country national coordinator for African Youth Leadership African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. So I'm today here, with my colleague Alpha Omar, the Assistant Communication of African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. So, Julia, thank you so much for having us.
Gambia chapter, I want to believe that there is a parent body, governing all of these things. Talk to us about the parent body. What does it really do? And what is the parent body?
Exactly. Thank you for asking that beautiful question. So the African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter is a subsidiary of the ALO, which is the African Leadership Organization mainly based in the United Kingdom, that is dedicated to empowering and educating young people through fostering ethical leadership and entrepreneurship with focus on the SDGs of the United Nations. So basically, we open doors for young people to finding their potentials, bringing them together, to having the voice, basically, to be present, to be seen, and to be heard, to actually do the work. For now is the time.
Really? That's a lot. That's really a lot. But also, what is the impact of this particular organization, in leadership, especially African leaders, in shaping their minds?
Yeah, like actually, like what my colleagues say, for us, we also focus with SDG, that is like SDG 3, well-being and good health. We also focus gender equality and also climate change as well. But normally, we focus more mostly on leadership, ethical leadership, because that's the mandate of the global. Because the African Youth Leadership Hub chapter is not only in Gambia. So currently, we have 12 countries that are very active, in the African region, like Mali, Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, so on. But currently we have 12, and also since we took this chapter in Gambia, so that was last year, 20 June. So we are just a new baby. I'm going to say so. We can say it.
Honestly.
Because we just began last year, so definitely. But thank God, through my people, the people I'm having, in all the chapter, definitely, they've been doing great job. So I cannot do it myself. I must, congratulate them. Their determination, commitment, sacrifice as well. But the achievement that we do so far, we do a leadership session, with Basiru J. That one, it's like we empower them, like the young leaders, you know, for them to promote like civil education. So we all know that, you know, here, you know, in this country, you know, we need young people, you know, young people, you know, they are the future tomorrow. So without the young people, I don't think that, you know, this country cannot go.
Absolutely.
So, you know, so that's why, you know, we came with that, you know, and also we also do training also with Chemo Bojang as well, you know, to nurture them about, you know, what they can do to contribute, you know, in their country. But maybe also, you know, my colleague here, Alpha, he can mention more on that because he was also part of those, you know, who've been training.
Who benefited?
Yeah, who benefited, you know,
Talk to us about that. How impactful was this session to you, Alpha?
It has so many impacts through my leadership growth and to my innovative skills as well to solving problems in my communities at a grassroots level. So
problems such as?
Problems such as trash in my community, a lot of issues in my communities that I can solve, especially when it comes to addressing throwing trash in the streets. And one practical responsibility I can take is to talk to these people and not only clean the street, but to teach them how they can make sure that these trashes are not thrown in the street and how we can use them for sustainability, like providing trash pit, basic education.
So you mentioned earlier that part of the mandate of the organization is the gender component of it. So me and my viewership, we are very much interested to know the composition of your organization. How many women do you have there? Because if you are fighting for gender equality, it must reflect at organizational level.
Of course.
Yeah.
So tell us the composition, Alpha.
So our organization is mainly dominated by women because we also believe in promoting women, children's rights as well. So we engage ourselves in healthy discussions where we can see to mitigate these issues of gender-based violence, issues of FGM, to hear from them, and that is going to give us a perspective of what they go through as women and what we can deal with these situations to also teach other people to make sure that these things don't happen. But the women in our organizations are also leading various departments and it's been really tremendous with their work. Yes.
Speaking of which, let us now explore on the meaning of leadership, because a lot of people have different meanings as to who is a leader and what it takes really to be a leader. But at your organizational level, what do you think a leader is? Who is a leader?
Thank you for asking that beautiful question once again. I know a lot of people say leaders are born, we're naturally born with. A lot of people say leaders are made, which I believe in both.
Really?
Yes, which I believe in both. You can make a leader, a leader is typically born to. But a leader is a person that can look at their people at a grassroots level and provide solutions for them, and not only preach about these things, but bring practical examples that can survey his or her own people to be part of them. And like I said, not only talk about these things, but bring practical steps, bring practical examples to building a vibrant community, which is very, very important.
It is. When we talk about leadership and who a leader is, I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that they can either be born or they are made.
Yes.
I mean, research has shown that 30% is genetic and the other 70% is it's something
it's
that you actually learn.
Work,
yeah, you have to learn it. But also, let's look at the qualities of a good leader.
Yeah.
What are some of the qualities that a good leader should have for everyone to just look at this person and say, wow, this person is a good leader?
Yeah, actually, like what my colleague mentioned here, you know, some leaders are born to be leaders, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, some are not born to be leaders. But like actually, you know, as a leader, you know, one thing like I experienced as well, so, you know, you must be patient. You know, because
patience.
patient.
It's a virtue, they said.
Yeah, you must be patient.
What they say,
you know, because you are dealing with different people, you know, from, you know, different level of aspect as well.
Yeah.
And also, you know, you need to be also honest, like honest to what you are doing. And also, you know, you have to be also honest to your people, because
honesty.
Yeah, because you've been elected by people. The place where you are, you've been pushed there by people. So today you will go, tomorrow another one will come, and sit the same place where you are. And also, like, as a good leader as well, you have to also listen, very well, at least, to see how best, you can find solution, and also, telling them to believe that, things, will be okay, even though things, might be very tough, might be very challenging, but even though, you make them believe that, still there is a hope.
There is hope.
Yeah, there is hope.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. I'm glad, yeah.
Part of what he is saying, and part of the question you asked, which is qualities of a good leader, and I believe transparency, a good problem solver, a critical thinker, who is being able to think about issues affecting his or her own people to provide possible and practical solutions to solve these problems.
So I'm really impressed, because really we have a lot of people who are just getting up and say, okay, I'm a leader this, I'm a leader of that. I can just get up one morning and then establish my own organization and call myself a leader. But what it really takes for an individual to be a leader, like you guys mentioned, the person has to have the vision, the influence to be able to influence people. We've seen a lot of leaders who are there and they call themselves leaders, but they don't have what it takes. They can't influence policy decisions, they can't influence people to do things, and they can't get people to execute a task, which I think it's really a problematic situation, in this country, but also around the world. But speaking of leadership, it goes with civic education and engagement. At your own level, how often do you engage people civic education, and how do you think that we can promote it as a country?
Yeah,
you then Alpha.
Yeah, that's why for us, like the first thing, since I took this chapter, as in the Gambia chapter, the first thing that we did is like we have a leadership session with Basiru J, so that we can. Not even our members, even us, we can learn from there about civil engagement, and also, we can learn also, to be, a better citizen as well. Because definitely, it's sad though, but, I must say it. Because in the Gambia here, so we lack civil education. But thank God now, so now recently, I've been seeing now, the grade 12, they are doing it currently, this past was, I'm seeing it, they are doing it with civil education. So that one also is very good, but I think civil education, will help the country, not only the organization, even, will help the country, so that, we can have a good leaders, we can have a leaders, who can motivate, within our surrounding where we are living as well. So I think, civil education is very important.
It is.
Yeah, so that's why, we came up with that thing. At least we nurture them so that they become a good leader tomorrow as well. Not even the country, but even outside. When they go outside, they can even to stand themselves as well. So that's why, for me, definitely, this leadership training, helped me a lot, because the reason I say that because I was not much engaged into this civil education in the past, but since I've been engaging with civil education, on leadership, because I've been nominated last month past,
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I got 2 award,
Wow.
from the African. The first one was from Ghana.
Okay.
Young African Immigrant Leadership.
Okay.
That was climate change, in
Climate
2023. And this 2024 also, there's an organization, that nominated me together with my brother Basiru Jan. But definitely, he couldn't make it, and he got the opportunity to go to the fellowship. And yeah, for me, I think definitely, we need to engage more on our young people,
Catch them young.
Catch them, because we believe that, for us, in next decade, we might be old. So we need, young people, who will guide us at least so that tomorrow, you know, we can stand and we can say, Alhamdulillah, at least, you know, we make progress, you know, we make legacy, we make something that, you know, we left behind. So definitely, you know, for me, I'm very impressed about, you know, my organization, to be honest.
Absolutely.
You know, because since last year, you know, we came up, you know, as a baby organization. I say it as a baby organization. But thank God, you know, since last year up to now, definitely, you know, so
you have
all
had
sector,
an impact.
Yeah, all sector of my organization, you know, so I cannot name one and leave one. But, you know, the overall of the organization, you know, they've been doing a great job, to be honest, you know.
So I want to believe that the reason why you set up this organization in the first place is the fact that you realize perhaps there are lapses, leadership lapses in, you know, at the regional level, at, you know, central government level, at all sectors of the society. What do you think as an organization, what do you think are the lapses in leadership in this country?
Thank you for that once again. So the beauty of this is young people come together to make this change, to start this initiative. Luckily, I have the training through Starfish International, where I was lucky to join their leadership academy, and that have also molded me, plus this one which he's talking about. But a lot of people preach that young people don't want to take leadership roles, don't want to participate. But this, we have proven it wrong, that young people want to participate in politics and they want to make a change within the Gambia, to socialize, to politically participate. But before that happens, you actually need to know what your right is. You actually know what your contributions are for your country and how you need to be a patriotic citizen, basically, to start up all of these things. So, like I said, a lot of people preach about it, but young people are not given the opportunity to start up all of these things. That's where this initiative comes from, to loan young people, to show them the way of how they can drive, be a key driver to that force to change Africa, the Gambia, and the world at large.
But before that change can be effected, there is a problem. Now you're saying that young people need to be given the platform, what it takes for them to lead, partake in politics and whatever. But you must have realized that there is a gap in leadership. That was the reason why I want to believe this organization was set up in the first place. What are some of these leadership gaps in the country, and also how does the organization come in to solve or tackle some of these issues?
Okay, this all embodies inclusivity. For it all to be done, young people need to take up leadership roles where they can be heard, they can be seen and be recognized, to change most of these issues that you're talking about. Like I said, in order to ensure that to happen, young people need to fill in these gaps.
But young people have been included in a lot of these things. You have youth-led organizations, platforms, and all of that. Young people are doing a lot of things. They're involved into a lot of things. But still, the status quo remains the same.
That's where we come from as an organization. That's where we come from as an organization. He mentioned initially that we had leadership sessions where we teach these young people to the basics of leadership, how they can not only teach them these basics, but how they can implement these leadership skills in their communities. Like you cannot just get up one day, because that's where those organizations you mentioned fail to do their part. It's not just coming on TV to, you know, decorate these things. It's about starting from community level. And then it becomes part of you, and then you grow. And that is what we are doing. Like I said, this was built by young people coming together. We have 188 members of young people that start up this initiative from zero to now hero.
And now you believe that you can, you believe this organization can change the status quo.
Absolutely, by doing our part, there will be change.
I'm really optimistic. I'm optimistic about this organization. But then, you know, it's one thing. I know young people are doing a lot of things. I'm a young person.
Honestly,
and I know I am proud of the young people in this country. They're doing a lot. But also, when you look at the status quo, it remains the same. We have the policy tools, we have strategies, we have laws, we have all that it takes. But most of these projects you're seeing, they are really slow, or they're either failing or they are slow. Then you tend to question yourself, what are young people doing to change the status quo? Because it remains the same. Before Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara's time, Gambia used to be the hub for democracy and good leadership. It was. And then until when, you know, in 1994, we got it wrong also as a country. But then we have a chance also as a country to return back to that lost glory. But young people have a stake. Like you mentioned, it cannot all be about seminars. It all cannot be about workshops. It all cannot be about just sitting around in one corner and then you want to impact a change. It has to be seen to be done by young people, not just following the status quo like the elderly people and then, okay, what they're doing, we are following that. Because that's the trend that I'm saying. Young people are following the same trend. It's either workshops, seminars, and platforms and all of that. I know they're important, but getting the right things done, like former Vice President Aliu Badara Diouf mentioned, it's my famous quote. Really, it is right to do what is right in order to get it right, and we have to do what is right in order to get it right. Are we doing what is right to get it right as young people?
I leave that questionable. So it's just the same people that are there doing the same thing, and the same thing keeps on repeating. And there is no change. If we advocate for change as young people and we want to represent the young people, that is where we start, by teaching young children, having other young people also join our organization to start the advocacy, to start the teaching, so the work can be done now.
So as an organization, you believe that it's the technical know-how, it's the civic education that is lacking.
And also like the ethic.
Ethically. I'm glad you mentioned ethics.
That's what
I think it's a very big element of leadership. You know, someone has to be ethical in order for things to move. It's either you're managing people or it's either you're managing resources. That ethical values has to be in you as an individual for things to move. What do you mean by ethics, Sonia?
For me, that's why, you know, like we see our vision. It's like to engage, to educate, you know,
and empower.
And to empower. So, you know, it's just like a hub, you know, like all of them ko dey wax comme si yoon comme nit ki like bala nga ko may wan ko wéy bi mu dem moo gën.
Waaw moo gën de.
Got man.
Waaw may every day su ñëwee rek.
just like Alpha, you know, like for example, I might say Alpha is my leader. Okay. So every time I'm saying Alpha, I have a problem, please can you solve the problem? Every time come and repeat. So why not, you know, Alpha, he showed me the direct way. So that, you know, next time if Alpha is not here, you know, so I can, you know, still now follow the way that he was doing. So that's why for us normally, you know, like we don't joke with data. Like, you know, whatever we do, you know, we do with data. And also like for us normally, we also even last time we have a boot camp. Because this is a boot camp that normally, you know, in every country have with the CEO direct. But normally for our CEO also, you know, Ken Jami, also, you know, he worked with different leaders across the world. Even recently, you know, they nominated Sidin Jai, you know, Gambia was represented to receive the award. And even also Adama Barrow also was nominated as well. But that was, you know, before the hub came. So the reason why, you know, we have the hub, the chapter is not only in Gambia. So we have, you know, other countries as well. So, but normally, you know, for us, you know, like, you know, we know young people, so we give them the platform for them, you know, for them. But really, you know, what impressed me so much is like, you know, we have, for me, mostly, you know, I go with genders.
Really?
For me, empowerment. Thank you very much, you know. So. I'm not a bias now.
You're not biased. You're not biased. You're right. We need that.
For me, normally, for me, normally, definitely, you know, I go with genders. You know, I go with ladies, definitely, because like what he mentioned, if you see our chapters, you know, we have young ladies, you know, young people doing so well. Definitely, you know, being in the front lines of the leadership. Definitely, you know, if you see, you know, even our secretary, you know, she's a lady, and different domain, you know, we have ladies, you know, who are very competitive, so, you know, who are very active as well.
So part of your activities is about motivation sessions, and the team is national identity, the foundation pillars of nation building, strengthening democracy, and all that. But as a country, what are the pillars of nation building in our country?
As a country, I believe the great pillars are trustworthiness,
Really?
accountability,
Yeah.
transparency, good governance, and good representation of people. To me, I believe that is a good representation of a good country. Like he mentioned, he at least talked about it, and which you ask him, which is the ethics. I am sure if a leader doesn't have good ethics, moral conducts, these are what guides you. These are your basic principles of what guides you to be an actual human being, a leader that you call yourself. Because if you're missing this ethics, because this is what defines you as an individual.
Absolutely.
If people say, okay, I am going to steal $100, because that has been a system that everybody steals $100. Now, as other young people come together to that place, not even wanting to give the other young ones that are coming, to groom them to come, they will also do the same thing. And as my ethics,
they will think it's normal.
yes.
Yeah, they will think it's
And
normal.
they are people that are advocating for change. But to me, ethics, I will not take that $100 because it doesn't define me. It doesn't define me as a human being and as a leader. So I would not cross that boundary, but this is what guides me.
So what are
And
the
it's one of the
challenges?
strongest pillars.
So what are the challenges that are really hindering, you think are hindering nation building?
One, I think, is the way people think, the way people evaluate things, and how the outside world works is quite different from.
How do they think?
Is
It would be interesting to know from you.
it's basically just my opinion
Okay.
and learning from things, as the world is a universal, and I'm a global citizen learning from everything. And how I think young people think is not being responsible, taking accountability of things by just saying things and not actually acting it.
Yeah.
You have to
Acting
take
upon it.
exactly.
Yeah.
You have to take responsibilities. You have to act upon what you preach. And that develops on what I basically said, which is the way we think and the outside world. What I mean about the outside world, what is happening? What are some of the projects that we can do? Not projects that we can show on TV, highlight on TV and be like, oh my God, we have done this. But practical progress, sustainable projects that can live long and benefit the people.
So Omar, in terms of the way forward to our nation building, what do you think it is that we have to do in order to for our country to move forward?
Yeah, like what my colleague mentioned here. So for me, I think so honesty is very important.
Okay.
So we have to honest to to ourselves, and we know that we are here for the people, and we are also been elected by people, like what I mentioned, like in organization as well. If you are giving tax, so it's also very important to make sure that
How would you
the
rate our
tax-
progress as a nation?
That will be interesting.
Interested, yeah. How would you rate our progress?
No, for me, definitely, I think, definitely, we have to dialogue.
Dialogue.
Yeah, dialogue is very important, So, but, and also we have to listen as well, because, things might happen, but it's, as far as, we sit, we open-mindedly, we listen, we dialogue, and also, we give, position also to those, who can lead it, like example, for the organization. Because like what you mentioned, for me, I've been doing volunteer 9 years.
Wow, you've been a volunteer for 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
Wow.
I've been doing it with my activities job and my normal job and my normal classes as well. But normally, because I've been also doing like community job as well. Like, because if they give you position, you know that, you cannot move the position. It's also very important as well. To tell your people that, you cannot do it. Because that's go with the sustainabilities. Because, they are stuck, at the same time, but not moving or not going backward. And you will step the same way. So I think that is important for me.
Yes,
For me, that is
It
very
is
You
very
wanna-
important.
okay.
Yes, I want to highlight a little bit on what he said, which is which he mentioned, or the dialogue. But I think one progress that we have made as young people. Young people in the Gambia are doing tremendously well. Gambians, you wouldn't even know it until you travel international.
Yeah.
We are doing absolutely very, very well compared to other countries. But
Countries.
we are not in competition, but we are making, like we say, if we preach about it, we start the work now. And now is the time, and we're actually doing it. And I believe we made a lot of progress compared to before, because a lot of young people are now engaged into a lot of things, are now aware of their civic rights and duties, and absolutely they are performing it. Which is
So in terms of democracy, how do we strengthen this democracy, and what are the obstacles, in strengthening our democracy? Omar?
Yeah, for me, like, that is, was still now, for me, I'll always go with the gender. For me, always, I'm with
The ladies.
the ladies,
So ladies are the solution.
The solution, yes. For me,
Unfortunately, ladies are not many in key positions.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately.
Definitely. For me, I think we need ladies, to be holding position, like in the national level, community level, and different places as well. Work, organization. For me, I think like what my colleague mentioned, like for there is a lot of challenges still now, but thank God, things been changed as well. But still now, young people, we need them to be action oriented.
Action oriented.
Yeah, action oriented. We need them, to be decision making. We need them also, to be in the front line, contributing to the national development of this country. Because, as a Gambia, we mentioned that 60%, I don't know
of the population.
Is it right?
The statistics.
60% of this country are
at
youth.
least for now.
For now.
They did their census and all that.
It will be updated.
Updated. For me, I think the youth need to be motivated. They need to motivate our youth. And we need also youth, to be taking, places as well in decision makings. And also, contributing to the sustainable development of this country.
Of the country.
Yeah. For me, like what he mentioned about, like Gambian, as a Gambian youth, you will not know, like, the capable of what you have until you travel. Yeah, for me, recently, my travel to Isabagang, that's how, I realized it that, Gambian youth, we have the potential.
We have what it takes.
Yeah, we have what it takes, definitely. So unless, you travel, that's how
that's the time.
That's the time you know that the leadership and the ethic and the other stuff you get. So for me, I think we need youth. Our youth need to get up. And we see
join
how
the
best.
crusade.
We see how best we can.
So Alpha,
take this country forward.
What do you think? How do we strengthen our democracy, and what are the challenges or obstacles hindering Gambia's democracy?
That is to be absolutely independent in what we do. Independent in a sense of not relying on other things, but what can we do and what can we create within ourselves for sustainability. As young people, I always speak for the voice of the young and on behalf of the young people. To make sure this democracy happens, we need to be independent in a sense that we need to find and cultivate these things to own them. And if you own this, you're able to control what happens.
Exactly.
Then nobody questions your democracy. Then you have absolute right to govern and dictate how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned that is what is called neo-independence. Trust me, we definitely badly need that. I am of the belief that we need to decolonize the mind. I think that is what is really affecting this generation of young people. It's the fact that our minds are so colonized to the fact that, we can't think what is wrong or right. Exactly. We don't even know where we are from and where we're going. Because like I mentioned earlier, if you look at our time, during Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara's time, Gambia was the hub for democracy and human rights. you know, Gambia was doing so well in terms of, in all sectors,
Yeah.
agriculture-wise, tourism-wise. Gambia is doing so well.
Definitely.
Even our musical industry was booming then.
Yeah.
We have Senegalese people coming here learning. But all of a sudden, there is a shift.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's gone. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
what happened?
Yeah.
People, you have some section of the society saying, okay, maybe, you know, the advent of coup d'etats in 1994 contributed to, you know, what's the country going backwards as far as these principles and morals are concerned. But as young people now, what can we do? For far too long, we have been the colonial masters. Okay, they are this, they are that, they are that. But
Yeah.
as young people, as Africans, as Gambians, as leaders of this continent, for far too long, okay, the colonial masters have gone.
Yeah.
And they left us here. After 50, 60 years now of independence, what are we able to do for ourselves? How are we governed? The governance of Africa, is it right?
Absolutely no. But like we mentioned, it's raising 100 generations, also as 1 million generations of Africans from 10 years to mitigate issues affecting us, affecting all Africans. And one way I think we can deal with this is to look at it as a key sensitive thing
Okay.
and blue it absolutely.
Okay. What do you really mean by that?
Blue it absolutely. It's we have to own. Have to look at what we own. In order to ensure all of these things, you have to look at what you own it, make
Leave it.
believe it,
Yeah.
and you make it happen.
Definitely.
I know most of the time people, even our cultures, we forget it. You even mentioned that. We forget what we own. We don't even cultivate our own rice.
Yeah.
We don't look at our own cultural heritage.
Yeah.
And if that is lost, we lose a value.
Exactly. Of who
We
we are.
lose a value. Then we are trying to copy, imitate other people's thing that we are stuck in between, we don't own. Now it becomes expensive on us as we are
Mad.
stuck in the middle.
Are we safe to call that copycat generation? So that takes us to, you know, your favorite leaders. Who are your favorite leaders of all times? It could be from Africa, it could be from anywhere in the world. And why is that person your favorite leader?
I am going to say 3. Will you
leaders.
pardon me?
Okay.
One is Siga Jang. She is a youth activist. She loves helping Africa. She loves standing out for all of these African and being a proper representation for Africa by doing the absolute right thing.
Right thing.
And the second one is Mam Yasin Sarr. So Mam Yasin Sarr is a woman defender. She advocates for women and girls' education, and she empower women as well. Through that, she also nurture young boys in order to promote equality in the Gambia. So I look through her leadership. Even though she's a woman, I know I started to mention women first.
Yeah.
She's a woman. She's doing amazing in the Gambia, and I look up to her leadership, which has been tremendous in the Gambia's development.
Okay.
And the third one is Nelson Mandela. Of all, he has endured a lot of pain for his people. It takes a lot of sacrifice wanting to make a change, and slowly it happened. And that do not just stop there, and it liberated the whole of his nation, his people.
Yeah.
And that genesis of that liberation marks the freedom of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also always inspire me, his poetry, his writing, his great visionary. It's absolute leadership.
Nice. So, Omar?
Yeah, for me, definitely, I will start here in Gambia.
Okay.
So definitely, Dr. Aissatou Diallo, the African Catalyzed Action for Nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the founder of NANA, recently NANA,
Oh,
So,
nice.
she's a great leader. Definitely, you know,
Mashallah.
who've been doing a great job in the nutrition of this country and beyond as well. Because like here in Gambia, like mostly, you know, we don't focus you know, much on nutrition. So, you know, we've been seeing, you know, a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of malnutrition, children, other stuff. But she fight for their right, you know, and she's also doing great thing. And also in the international level as well, Martin Luther King, you know, he's a freedom fighter.
Junior or senior?
Senior.
Senior, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, he's a freedom fighter, you know, so he fight for African right, you know, freedom, you know, liberation, you know, voice of the youth, you know. And recently also, you know, Bobby Wine, you know, Uganda opposition, Bobby Wine.
Bobby Wine?
Bobby Wine, yes. He's also, you know, I used to follow him in Twitter. Twitter, you know. He's also like a youth, you know, yeah, that been also inspiring the youth.
So their values represent that of
as
yours.
well, definitely, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and also here in Gambia, we have Basiru Jan and Kimo as well.
Okay.
They are also doing an amazing job in this country about, you know, ethical leadership, you know, promoting young people, you know, giving chance to them, you know, for them to, you know, also to be becoming a great leader.
So, Yendal, it's like none of you I am able to inspire. You who is hosting this program. It's not fair. Huh?
Actually, you're leading in where you can absolutely inspire.
Yeah,
Yendal, this man fair wulen. I was hoping to hear Julde.
Yes, you are right.
Hello, Julde.
So, moving on, let's talk about the tree planting initiative. Earlier, you mentioned that part of your mandate is to also conduct tree planting exercises, and over the years, you've been doing a lot of tree planting initiatives. Tell us the species that you've been planting over the years, Alpha.
Thank you. We have planted 533 trees within the coastals of the Gambia. And we do not only plant these trees, because when we plant them, they might die, and we will not have somebody to take care of them. But the difference is we find people that will take care of these trees, to water them, to make sure they grow. And we make a study to which tree is specifically good for this area. Because one of the main reasons why we planted these trees in these areas is to ensure and mitigate climate change and promote a greener Gambia, which is very, very important into our environment, to create an eco-friendly environment in the Gambia.
So when it comes to the types of trees, what are they? Are they fruit trees? Are they mahoganies, or what kind of trees are you planting?
So we planted several trees.
Okay.
We planted, like I said, we did a case study of what tree is best suitable for what area. We planted the umbrella tree that will give shade to people, and also it's lasting for that area. We also planted the Malina tree. We also planted some moringa trees. We actually planted mahogany trees, and we actually did planted trees at Bakau, Jashwang, Talindeng, Kotu, basically within the coastals of the Gambia.
So, what is the rationale behind these tree planting exercises? You did mention that you conducted a study. What does the study say?
Yeah, like normally, you know, before we go and embark on trees, because we want things to be sustainable, at least, you know, so that tomorrow, you know, the trees we plant, they can be, you know, beneficial to the people. Because normally we form a task force that, you know, because we have environmental task force, you know, that is leading by someone in the organization. But like they do survey, they go to school, you know, we ask them in school that which trees is the best for the ground, you know, because like what I'm telling mostly, you know, if we plant their orange, you know, the tree will die because of the soil as well. So that's why mostly we do survey. So we go to the schools, we write letter to them, and they accept us. You know, the task force sit with them, ask them, we do survey, you know, then we ask them like how many trees they need. And also the tree is provided us to by CAP. That is mean Canefin, you know, Canef kind of an environment transparent program. So under the European Union project. So on the leadership of the CAP, so through Uncle Buba, we sit with him, because like if we see our mandate, like we also work with climate change.
Okay.
So
climate change mitigation.
Mitigation.
So okay.
So that's why we came with that.
Let us open the lines at this point. 5050-505, 5050-505. Call in to send in your contribution. The topic is about leadership. How do we have good leaders in this country? What does it take? Leadership qualities. Where are we getting it wrong as a country? How do we regain that lost glory as far as leadership is concerned? Because like I mentioned earlier, leaders can either make us as a country or break us, depending on, how they govern us. So you were saying something very, very important, that you go there, do a survey, and then you ask them. I think that is very important, asking people what their needs are. Rather than just coming and then doing a lot of things, because I've seen places whereby they go there, do some tree planting exercises, and the following year they don't find any. It's all that.
Sustainable.
And also, like for us, what is more important, like we have an app, CAP. CAP, they have an app, like in every 2 months or 1 month, the team will go there, and survey the tree. So if, the tree need changes, we will replace it.
Okay.
But normally, thank God, recently, the school we plant so far, alhamdulillah, the trees are growing. So far, and also,
all the over 500 trees that you have planted. Okay.
And normally also, we will also, like what happened to Kotu, we also work with their school committee or something. They have a youth there that, we work with them so that, things can be more sustainable. So that, they can monitor the trees that, we are planting as well. So that's why, we want things to be sustainable. So we don't want to go there and we plant the tree and tomorrow.
So we have a caller, Omar. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Kalla ak fonyo ole. Jamare, alhamdulillah.
Baye nang ci jamm.
Balal ñu bro, balal ñu nga wañ sa télé.
Diga Ibo Town.
Okay. Okay.
Adama Diouf la diga Ibo Town.
Okay, Adama. Yang ci bir.
Yeah, you dialogue programme bu important la duma raw xam.
Jërëjëf Adama.
But tay mom ken bu ma nekk di setan ni it's a very wonderful important program,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I took some more bu baax mu ngi tok tamit mu ngi wal important di Omar Mboup,
Waaw, Omar. Jërëjëf.
Thank you.
So, maa ngi naa gërëm bu baax a baax programme bi leena trop am na solo bu baax a baax.
Jërëjëf waay. So lan mooy sa contribution ci programme bi? Lan nga teg ne?
Programme bi moom comme noo leen ko nekk di expliquer rek, because true speaking so dégloo ñoom ñaar yëpp ku si nekk wax na la yëpp. At the same time, climate change is very important because xam nga rek Gambia moom ku nekk xam na difficulty bu ñu am about the climate, so doo dee mën a explain yëpp daal. So suñu demee ba ñu gis lii loo xamante ne ñi gars yi bëgg nañu taxaw pour at the same time how to call naka laa ko waxee, but it's very important daal. Dama over happy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jërëjëf waay.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, program bi neena.
Thank you.
So I was saying in order to make sure all of these things happen, because we are ensuring right now we are encountering climate change. We are seeing the effects of climate change already, but what needs to be done, it's not happening, as we are already experiencing delay in the rainy season. There is deforestation. We're already experiencing this, and it's not just the Gambia. It's a global issue. So that's why we, as an organization, start to do something to mitigate this issue. like he mentioned, we don't only go and plant trees, but we plant these trees for sustainability.
So what is your future plans as far as the organization is concerned? What are your upcoming activities?
Yeah, like
I'm excited to hear.
Yeah,
really?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. You know, just yesterday, you know, we finished our meeting. You know, I was chaired by him.
Okay.
So the communication team, you know. So, so actually, currently, right now, we, like what we mentioned, we are just a baby organization, you know.
Yeah.
So we just established last year, but alhamdulillah, so far, you know. So the team, you know, they are doing great job. Okay. So far, you know, we plan to launch our organization next month. You know, 21st, inshallah. And you know, there's a team task force that, you know, they created. But maybe, you know, he will elaborate more on that.
Okay, we have a minute or less to go.
Okay, I will round off.
Okay.
So next month we are planning the official launching of the African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter, where it will be very interesting and insightful, where we will have meaningful conversations as youth and look forward to practical steps that we can take as young people and basically talk about leadership, where we can start. How can we take this? How can we even implement these in our school system for children to learn at school, so that they can implement these things that they have learned at school. And we are going to invite a lot of important personnel that will come and grace the event and engage with these young people.
Absolutely.
So it will be a wonderful event for the young people. Everybody is invited.
Yeah, and also, sorry, you know, before we wrap up,
okay.
sorry, definitely, you know, I will thank, you know, Omar Kuli, you know, the GAMTEC project manager, to be honest. So since day one, you know, even our first launch, our first program, you know, so he's the one who facilitated us the hall for free.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely GAMTEC, you know, they've been also great partners for us.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you. That is,
you.
I had with me, ladies and gentlemen, Omar Mbub, who is the National Coordinator of the African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter, and Alpha Omar Jan, who is the Assistant Communication Officer of African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. That is all we have for you in this edition. We were talking about leadership, and like I mentioned, my favorite quote of, you know, late Aliou Badara Diouf is that as a country, it is right to do what is right, to get it right, and we have to get it right by doing what is right.
Yeah.
So until we come your way next week for another edition. Bye-bye.